Welcome back to the SEN WA studio. We're out here at Optus Stadium. A beautiful autumn day today in Perth. The AFL's talent ambassador is Kevin Sheehan, and a couple of days ago he released the players he believes will be the top 75 draft picks at this point in the season. Obviously, there's a lot to play out. There's still the under-18 championships to unfold, and that will be a big shaper of how clubs regard the talent contingent. But it was interesting that of the 75, 13 came from Western Australia, 14 from Vic Country, 16 from Vic Metro and 12 from South Australia, as well as 10 from Queensland and 7 from New South Wales. So WA has a fair slice of that talent contingent. To talk about our slice of the national talent pie, we've got Adam Jones, who's the WA Football State Talent Manager, on the phone. Adam, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, Duff.
So, mate, has Shifter nailed it? Is that do we have a good, strong contingent of youngsters from WA this year?
Yeah, pretty excited about the group this year. We've got a good level of depth. The midfield sort of bats deep. We've got some really good small forwards, some good running defenders, and a couple of nice talls. So, yeah, we've got a really good balance this year and probably going to bat a little bit deeper than what we did last year.
So what does it say about our prospects for the National 18s Championships? I mean, some people just view this as a showcase for the young talent, but I think as a West Australian and a competitor, I like our teams to do well and hopefully win. How are we expected to go in the National Champs?
No, you're spot on. History shows that the better you do, the more kids you get drafted. So, yeah, our aim is to be really competitive at the champs. And you sort of speak to recruiters and get a feel for who they believe is going to be strong nationally. And the word I'm getting is that the Allies are going to be very, very strong. You mentioned 10 Queensland boys in Shifter's top 75. So they're going to be really strong, and Metro as well. I think SA they're always pretty competitive, and Country might be a little bit down from what they were last year. So, yeah, hopefully it puts us in a good position. We're really confident with the group that we've got, and pretty hopeful that we'll be able to take it up to all the other states in the champs.
One of the players that's been making waves early in the season in Colts footy and kicking big bags of goals is Cody Cirten, who, of course, is the younger brother of Daniel Cirten. Tell us about him and his development, a 200-centimetre key forward.
Yeah, he's got a few extra centimetres on Dan. He's a massive unit. As you mentioned, 200 and a big, strong boy. He played 18s last year as a key defender, and then over the pre-season we've trained him up as a key forward. So he's still learning the craft, but what he's got is this natural competitiveness that you rarely see in young sort of key position players, and his work ethic is outstanding in games as well. Sort of heard one recruiter compare him a little bit to a Tom Lynch from Richmond. He's going along nicely, still learning his craft as a forward, but a really competitive big guy that should feature pretty high in the draft, I'd say. The
athletic traits that Daniel had, and I remember a couple of years ago when he came through and he played back and midfield and probably never quite translated to being a power forward, even though he's playing a little bit there for the Adelaide Crows. But Daniel had a reasonable tank. What sort of tank has Cody got? Because obviously that will be a factor even if he does become a power forward. They do get up and down the ground now.
It's funny you mentioned that. We actually haven't got a 2K data on him. He's always been injured or something wrong when we're doing the 2Ks, but he's been super eager to do them because he reckons he's going to get around a 620, 630. So he's got a high belief that he's got great tank. His GPS numbers have been outstanding from a work rate point of view. And you watch him in a game, he works up and back. So I think, his fitness is one of his strengths.
One of the young players that emerged towards the back end of last year, and there's been a strong buzz about him early this year as well. He's made his Waffle League debut, Freddy Rodriguez from South Freemantle. I sat next to his mum and his sister at the South Freemantle lunch a couple of weeks ago. They were really lovely people. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Fred's the ultimate professional. does everything right to play at his best each week, and he's a sort of hybrid inside mid, very good endurance. He's clean, composed, good skills on both sides of his body. So he's sort of that really good all-round midfielder, and another who's got a really outstanding work ethic in games.
NGA talent, Adam. What are we looking at there this year in terms of what West Coast and Fremantle might be able to pick up and match bids from other people?
Yeah, there's a lot this year. So West Coast, I guess starting with father-son prospect Charlie Banfield, son of Drew. He's a sort of tall wingman, or sort of half forward. You've got Kobe Evans, who sort of reminds me of Sam Powell-Pepper when he came through. Just very strong, aggressive, high intensity, very hard at it, and he's a sort of forward mid. They've also got Wes Wally from Subiaco, who's a sort of medium forward, beautiful leap and overhead mark, and kicks goals. And Fremantle, they've got a couple as well. So there's a young boy, Tom Phillips, who's actually boarding at Scotch in Melbourne, originally from Perth, an East Fremantle boy. He's a tall wingman that's got some beautiful movement through traffic, some really nice athletic traits. So he'll play with us in the championships and fly over for some camps and trial games and whatnot. So he's an exciting prospect for Freo. Toby Wan, one of Fred's teammates, he's a super hard running midfielder. He's got the best endurance in our state program and uses it to his advantage in games. He's a long left foot kick and can play in a variety of positions. There's a number of boys available to the two clubs, and I'm sure there's going to be a few of them that end up at the clubs.
One youngster that caught everyone's attention a couple of weeks ago in a South Fremantle Swan Districts game, a kid called Ryder Luke, who kicked 8 goals from 8 kicks in about a quarter and a half of footy. What can you tell us about him?
Well, actually, he's another Freo NGA player that I forgot to mention. So, he's burst onto the scene this year. He's actually come through South Fremantle's development squads and futures, but it's probably only been this year where he's really elevated his game. He's a really powerful young man. He's sort of a medium-sized forward that's super quick on the lead and got some genuine speed and power. He's beautiful hands and kicks the ball nicely. So, he's an exciting prospect that we're sort of just sort of getting to know and seeing what he's capable of. But we're excited to work with him over the next couple of months.
Would we expect to see him in the 18s championships, or has it been too soon to know that at this stage?
Well, he's in the squad, and at this stage, he's looking likely to get games. He's certainly a player of interest for recruiters. So, it's our job to try and showcase that talent. I've got no doubt that he'll feature in some of the games during the championships. A
kid that caught the eye last year as an underager in the 18s championships was Swan Districts player Blake Kelly. Can you tell us how he's tracking and how he's shaping up?
Yeah, Blake had a really good game on the weekend, 30 possessions and 3 goals. He's just developed a little bit of hamstring awareness after that, so he may miss this week. But he's tracking along nicely, Blake. He had an interrupted pre-season with a hamstring and was away for a little while, so he's sort of been trying to catch up with his fitness. He played an outstanding trial game at the end of our pre-season in the summer program and played a league practice game in the pre-season and fared really well. So he's tracking along nicely, Blake. Strong inside mid. He can play forward as well. He's really good overhead. Just a really footy smart player.
So these players start the season with their waffle clubs, then they get pulled into the state program. Tell us where they're at the moment with all of that and what lies ahead of them over the next couple of months.
Yeah, so we started training last week. So induction on Tuesday. They'll come in with us Mondays and Tuesdays for the next couple of weeks. Then on the 17th of May, we'll have our first trial game against a Waffle 21s team. And then we're basically full-time, so they're Monday, Tuesday, Thursday with us, and games on the weekend. We've got 2 trial games, and then a week off, and then our first championship game versus Vic Country here in Perth.
Last year we saw a really strong contingent from Claremont, and part of the motivation of the talent development pathway project that the WA football is undertaking at the moment is trying to make sure we get a more even spread of talent and not so much bring Claremont's program back to the other clubs, but bring other clubs up to the standard where Claremont has been able to achieve. And obviously the Claremont does have some advantages with that sort of enclave of private schools in and around their footy club. But do we have a better spread of talent this year, do you think, across the 9 clubs?
No, there definitely is a much better spread. There's still a strong contingent from Claremont. I think they've got 7 or 8 in the squad, which is the highest number. But we've got Peel have 6 players, and there's at least a couple of players from every club this year. So it's a far more even spread of players, and probably shown in some of the Colts games this year where, there's been sort of some upsets and some really close games. So, we're for a good Colts competition this year.
What sort of input have you had into that Talent Development Pathways project, Adam? Are they consulting with you to work out what areas you feel that we're, I guess, softest in WA footy that we can get the most upside out of?
Yeah, certainly over the time that they've been together, we've provided information and sort of help guide some of the discussion. We've sort of been a part of the process last week. There was the Sports Key testing day. So they've engaged Sports Key, which do an advanced sort of testing and assessment on athletes, which can profile players or people to certain sports, and it's sort of been born out of the Sydney Swans Academy and what they've been doing on the East Coast, and so the Commission's sort of doing a pilot. WA Football's doing a pilot with that testing. So that was last week. Went along and had a look at that. It was very interesting to see the tests they do, and really looking forward to seeing the results and if it marries up with some of the more talented players.
If I was to ask you now how many WA boys you think there might be in the top 15 at the draft, what would the number be without actually naming the players?
Oh, probably maybe 2. Yeah, maybe 2. But again, like it's all for us in WA. I think a lot of weight gets put on the championship. So if we can perform well as a team, it could push a few more up into that bracket. Yeah,
a lot to play out, obviously, very early days. But Adam, it's always a pleasure to talk to you on the show. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll follow the progress of the young blokes with great interest as the season goes on.
No, absolutely, Duff. Thanks for having me on.